So like they have to know they have to work with them.
They need to do all these.
That's their job.
Not knowing the whole
And I have them identify the parts and write it vertically.
different.
Yes.
Okay.
So parts and whole.
Missing a middle piece.
So model, they have to draw a model for the number 2.
So
They have to draw some type of model to get full credit. Even if they don't draw.
literally what we're doing. So they don't have to just review it.
They loved the chip model today.
Chip model, we don't have to work quite to get it done correctly. They need to show the chip model.
Really like a part.
This one's hard.
if they have to show
Like if they aren't able
have
to
to show
do
this
this,
part.
if kids have a really solid understanding of part whole, they could do any of these without you having given them those examples.
And they also need to be able to recognize the relationship between ones and tens. Because in order for me to go from
This
60 to some number to 49, I need to know how many tens were taken away and how many ones were taken
Oh,
away to get to that number.
exactly. Yeah, see. Okay, so you need to solve both sides. I mean, that's what we did
Yeah,
before.
I mean, that's
We started doing that, right?
Yeah.
It's subtract, adding and subtracting
made
tens,
it
some
equal
tens
to
and
each
some
other.
ones.
This was our strategies. It's like the first couple lessons.
Right, because then if they don't understand that,
We
it's
had,
also
we had them equal them to each other.
the strategies and the mathematics, right?
Yeah.
So,
Alright, so.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, they're related, but it's not the same. So the first one has to evaluate another person's work, and the second one they have to do their own work based on the same
Based on
problem.
that one.
So connected word problems.
Yeah, that works.
They're connected word problems.
So more like two.
Multi-step, that's
Yeah,
it.
two-step.
Even better. That makes more sense.
And that's the test.
This is getting big today. No more place value
That's
density.
it.
Just ask you guys what themes you pulled out.
Yes, based on our last test, our scholars struggled with calculations, and then we noticed that the kids who got it wrong, they didn't note a strategy, so they just wrote a number. So picking a strategy and using that, being able to evaluate other people's work, they're gonna have to do. And we just put like basic knowledge with tens and ones, and knowing when to, and then hundreds too, I'll put that down. And knowing when to switch the unit when they're counting. And then just working with those connected word problems. With the multi-step pieces, and part B is connected to part A, that if you don't know what's going on in part A, you can't master part B.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Alright. So what do we notice overall? What are your takeaways about what kids need to do to be ready for a mid-module in 2 weeks? A lot. Or as Shanika usually says, pray. Specifically.
Part whole is across the board for every standard, something that we really need to make sure that they're mastering and understanding.
Yep, so who remembers back when we practiced, when we did the module launch for module 4, and we practiced that lesson 5 where I showed you on the board? Do you remember that? Yeah. Maggie remembers. I showed you how to solve a problem, the arrow way, the number bond way, and then you guys jumped into your own practice. What are a couple key questions from that day that you can think of, if you can remember, that are really important for part whole?
What is the total? So like, what is the unknown?
Yep.
What do you need to find?
How do you figure out a total if you have both parts? And how do you figure out a part if you have a total and a part?
Okay.
How do you know?
What is the relationship between the two values?
How did you know? What did I just do?
And we had, one of the examples was like, where they have to decompose a number into tens and ones. And so that's another, like doing the number bond way is another great opportunity to reinforce part whole. Because it's like, which, I'm trying to think of the exact problem I modeled, but it was like decomposing like 42, say, and adding it on to 17. And you added like 40 plus 10 and 7 plus 2 or something like that. So having kids also emphasize like, I broke this into 10s and 1s because it's easier to add 10s and 10s and 1s and 1s, but understanding that like the 10s and the 1s are the two parts to that whole. Does that make sense? Okay. And you have to really remember the example for that to live with you. So what we're gonna do for the last 15 minutes is, if you flip to the last page on this packet, you have a 2-week reteach plan. So I would start, the first thing I would start with is naming the standard and the misconception that you're reteaching on certain days. But you have to make some decisions with your co-teachers because you also have a topic B assessment that you're giving tomorrow, and you'll have a topic C assessment that you're giving on 12/6. Yes. So topic C assessment is on 12/6, which means you do have 12/7's reteach day to respond to some of that data. You're giving topic B tomorrow, and you have a reteach day the day we come back from break, which means that between now and Monday, you need to set up your materials for that reteach. Could be based on tomorrow's topic B. We also gave topic A last week and had fairly low data on that, and that would be a great standard to reteach because, as you saw, it comes up multiple times in the mid-module. So you and your co-teacher can make some decisions on the reteach days and the strategic reteach blocks about which standards you're going to do. You might also want to reserve a couple of the strategic reteach blocks for exit ticket reteach as well. So you don't have to fill all the reteaches with mid-module or end-of-module reteach. Does that make sense?
You know what topic C is?
Yes, I do. Strategies for decomposing 10. What standard is specifically? I will look it up right now. It's either OA1, MBT7, or MBT9. Both of which show up on the mid-module as well. But I'll look right now. If you finish naming the standard that you're going to reteach with its misconception, please remember you have to name the misconception you're reteaching. Don't just say like OA1, that's a big thing. Then the next step would be to list the kids that you want to pull in those groups. Got it?
Are you looking for module 4, topic C?
Yes. You have it?
It's MBT7 and MBT9.
On the topic assessment?
Oh, I thought you were asking what standards topic C was.
Yeah, but we want to look up exactly which standard is on the topic assessment.
Oh, I could do that.
All right, go ahead.